Good Friday morning. We made it to the weekend. We made it to 4th of July weekend. Happy day. All right. So, let's get into this. Today, I am talking about what caused the root cause of my weight loss obsession. So, at this point, if you've watched any of my videos, you've probably been asking yourself, where did all this come from, Sarah? A 10-year-old doesn't just start dieting out of the blue. That's a great question. And for all of my, what I consider to be self-awareness, it took me a very long time to ask that question because I was stuck in the obsession. There was never a point where I just stopped and said, this might not be normal. And so I was just doing my thing and riding that painful roller coaster. So it took me about 25 years to ask this question and to find the answer. But I did. And here's what I can tell you. So went on my first diet when I was 10 years old. The memory that I have, so a little backstory, I didn't just walk around with this memory. This is a latent memory. Latent means hidden. So I had this memory deep in the recesses of my mind that I had kind of forgotten about. And it wasn't until I was doing the work, as they say. I was doing the internal work, and that's a whole different video, the work that I did, or it's probably more like a conversation. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But I was doing the work, and I had this memory, and this is a memory, it's one of those memories that's so far back in my psyche that it feels like you're looking, for me when I think about it, it's like I'm watching it unfold through a not a telescope, but what do the sea captains use? Periscope, thank you. It feels like I'm looking through a periscope. But this was a memory of when I was 6 years old and I was sitting at the dinner table with my family. And at 6 years old, when I was 6, my mom, as far back as I could remember, had always been a large lady. So she had always struggled. Well, I say she'd always struggled with her weight. To 6-year-old Sarah's mind, this was my mom. She's always this larger size. So 6-year-old Sarah wasn't thinking through her pains and her struggles. This was just my mom. And so we were sitting at the dinner table, and in this memory, my mom was negotiating with my dad. And what my mom really wanted was a blue sapphire ring. That's what she wanted. And she had made a proposition to my dad. She had told him, what if I lose 100 pounds, because she was pretty heavy, if I lose 100 pounds, will you buy me a blue sapphire ring? And my dad agreed to that. So that was the negotiation that happened. And in that moment, I just want to let that settle in. So my mom was negotiating with my dad. If she lost 100 pounds, he would give her this ring. Very transactional. Just in your mind, hearing that story, what meaning do you make of what my mom is worth in that moment? And who is deciding her self-worth in that moment? All of that meaning that you might have come to, that wasn't anything in 6-year-old Sarah's conscious mind, of course. But that planted a seed. Witnessing that event planted a seed deep within my psyche. And I know it planted that seed because for the rest of my life, well, we'll say for all of my upbringing, my world was weight. How I assessed people was their weight. How I assessed myself was my weight. My weight became a question of, am I good or am I bad? Am I worthy or am I not worthy? And on top of that, the person that gets to assess that is not me. It's everybody outside of me as a result. So you've heard the phrase looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. I was looking at the world through weight loss glasses, and it was not a fun experience, I can tell you that. What I began to discover as I got older is my obsession, and it took me a long time. So I went all through my 20s on this roller coaster ride. It wasn't until my 30s, but thank God for our 30s, I began to discover that my obsession wasn't the problem. It was a symptom. And I've alluded to that in my past videos, that this was just a symptom. It was my deepest wound made visible, right? What I discovered, and this is key, is that the way I was looking at the problem was actually the problem. And when I was finally able to process this memory, it gave me an incredible gift. It allowed me to realize that this problem is not me. And by disassociating it from me, knowing that this is somebody else's problem that was handed to me, unbeknownst to them, unbeknownst to me. So there was no bad intention. It was my inheritance, is what it was. When I discovered that, I no longer had to own that belief. I took that 100-pound sapphire ring, whatever, backpack that I was carrying around, and I dumped it. So I lost that metaphorical weight, thankfully. And what was really wonderful about that is it meant that my self-worth no longer was tied to my weight. Now, you might be thinking like, oh, so you were fixed in that moment. Not in that moment. So I say my self-worth was no longer tied to my weight. I realized my self-worth was no longer tied to my weight. Now, the practice of actually metabolizing that, we'll say, of integrating that into my experience and into my framework, that became my path. So the shame intellectually was removed. I realized like my weight has nothing to do with my worth. And I also realized that now my new task was, okay, I need to stop looking at other people to figure out my self-worth. That's actually no longer a question. My self-worth is intact because I'm here. All of our self-worth is intact because we are here. In fact, self-worth shouldn't, it's not even a question. We're here. That's all that matters. So as I said, I wasn't magically fixed, but at least I identified the actual problem. The weight loss itself was no longer the problem. This deep, gaping wound of my obsession now became the greatest source of my healing. So the meaning of my weight loss journey has changed over time from that of a self-worth issue to that of a self-love practice. And I just want to let you know, even today, this is an ongoing practice. It is an ongoing practice every single day. And it gets better every single day. It gets easier every single day. But just that reframe of knowing, hey, my weight and how I engage with my body, this is self-love. It's revolutionary. It's absolutely revolutionary. The reason that I'm sharing this with you today is it underscores a principle that I've learned in my life to be true. And that is, there is tremendous power in the pain that we experience. So I'd like you to ask yourself right now, is what points of pain are you experiencing? What are those points of pain that cause the most shame for you? I'm assuming if you're watching this video, it might revolve around weight loss. Or maybe over the course of this video, you've discovered something else that's popped up for you. But whatever it is, I want you to ask yourself what that pain is. And then I want you to consider, how are you looking at this problem that's possibly causing the problem for you? And further, what would happen if you used your own weight loss journey as your point of practice for self-love and for healing, instead of using it as a standard to judge yourself? What would need to be different about the way you're approaching your weight loss journey if this were true? I'll leave you with one final thought, another quote, one of my favorites. This is by the Sufi poet Rumi. The wound is where the light enters you. That quote gets me. I know this was heavy today, friends. I hope you got some benefit out of it. Definitely comment below. I also want to assure you that these are tears of joy. Anyways, comment below if you got anything out of this, and join me tomorrow, 11 a.m. I will be doing a live webinar on how to get out of your weight loss rut. I don't think I'll be crying tomorrow, but who knows? So anyways, again, thank you for taking the time to join me for this. I hope you have a wonderful Friday, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll either see you at the gym or I'll see you online. Bye for now.